Mainland Bridge. A sad incident occurred on the third Mainland Bridge, which is a conversation we're having today. So what really happened? For those of you who don't know what happened, the videos, some pictures will be showing, and as well as the events afterwards that particular accident. The person to speak to us, Amodu Shakiru, is the Chief Fire Officer of the Lagos State Fire and Rescue Service and Head of Public Education. Thank you so much for coming on the program.
Thank you for having me.
We saw pictures, perhaps videos of that particular incident, but you are in charge of fire and rescue, and I'm sure you understand what had played out. So what really happened from what you know, before we begin to dig deep into what was the aftermath?
Okay. The news just came to us not as an emergency report. Unfortunately, we didn't get the emergency alert to that very incident. But when the news came, you need to make a quick check. And then we actually confirmed the story, but it's been an aftermath, and some emergency responders have already taken care of the immediate solution that would have been provided for such an accident. It was quite unfortunate, but like we do say, accidents are very, very preventable, and then the best accident you can prevent is the one you have avoided, so that it doesn't happen in the first instance. When the news came and we make a check, we find out that it's result out of overspeeding, because we all are aware, I know the world is aware, that the speed limit for Third Mainland Bridge is 80 kilometers per hour. So the vehicles involved, or some of the vehicles involved, because a quite number of vehicles caused the accident, not all the vehicles involved this time around. A quite number of them caused the accident, and they are very far above that 80 speedometer limit. And unfortunately, the avoidable accident happened, and investigation is still on it, because it's just 2 days past the incident happened.
So you're talking about the one that happened on Sunday. There was the one that happened on Saturday.
Yes.
The one that the 27-year-old at the car launched into the lagoon. That's the one I want to find out from you exactly.
Okay.
Because there are questions as to several questions. So let me just hear you.
Several questions. Okay.
It's my job to ask questions. That's what I'm trying to do.
Okay. Exactly Saturday at 05:11 hours. We got a call of an emergency, which
05:11 means 5 a.m.
Yes, 5 a.m. Just 11
for context for our audience.
5 a.m. Yes. So we got the alert that at Third Mainland Bridge, just by the Adekunle intersection, a Toyota Corolla has plunged into the river. So, and we were there. Unfortunately, it involved a 29-year-old lady, which is the only person on the car, as well as the driver. So, but the incident has happened. The Marine Police also joined us. The locals, we met them. We met them already trying to do what we will call rescue emergency. But at the end of the day, that was about 1 hour thereabout later, we were only made to recover the female body of that unfortunate victim. We recover it, which is lifeless this time around, and then all other effort was made to probably recover the vehicle. And after recovery, like I said, the Marine Police were there, the family too were there. So we handed over, police, we always take charge of any corpse recover at an accident scene. We handed it to police, who also was in talks with the family. And we also agree, the emergency responders there now, we agree. Ransom was there, that's the Lagos State Ambulance Service. And we also agreed to have a later operation on how to recover the vehicle. That's the Toyota Corolla in question now. But, after the body was handed over by the police to the family, they need to went for the burial. And the information that was gathered, which was also substantiated, was this fellow was coming from the highland. She was actually driving inward Yanowo end of the bridge. So she was coming from Mainland from an event before the unfortunate incident happened at just by 5 a.m. because we got the call after the incident happened.
So let's build a few things. How soon were you there?
We were there in 9 minutes. So the call was 5:11, like I said, and we were there for 5:20.
But we understand that it was the local divers, local people that were taking charge of a lot of the rescue process, and some were even demanding for money before they go out. Did you hear that part of the story as well? Because if you were there, as urgent as you say you were there, why would that be happening? So help us clarify. On one hand, the local people are doing, which you have alluded to, they were doing their work or trying to make effort to maybe help out in whatever situation. But there are other shenanigans that were going on as far as, making demands for the body and all of that. But if you were there as at the time you were supposed to be there, maybe that wouldn't have happened. So help us reconcile that situation.
Okay, thank you. Like I said, most times incident will happen before we were called upon. So between the time the incident happened and the time we were called upon, via the Lagos emergency toll-free number, which route through the command and control center of the state to the fire service, definitely there have been some efforts being made. And like by the time we also were there, just shortly the family came. And when anxiety are on, people will be desperate to rescue their loved one. So while negotiation may be on by the locals, between the locals and the family now, that is not our own priority. Our own priority is to set out the plan of rescue. Because you need to get to scene, no matter how professional you are, you need to get to scene, look at the terrain, and map out the best strategy to do that.
So sorry, because of time, who was able to bring the lady out? Was it you or the locals?
The locals, eventually. The locals.
So what exactly did you do if the locals were able to bring the body out? Because that's where the issue of the negotiation as to releasing the body and all of that is, all of the things we hear happened behind the scene happened.
Okay.
So because if you say you're coming to map out, we're trying to understand the situation here. Naturally, things will happen, you'll be called. Perhaps before you get there, some first responders will make some effort. Now, when you came, you say you want to map out, but at the end of the day, when you now say they are the ones that brought out the body, so what exactly did you now do?
Of course, we coordinate it. Like I said, we are there with LASEMA, we are there with the Marine Police. So we are not working alone. We have to work with this team. And definitely, we have to work with the local. No matter what, it's a lagoon, it's a terrain that best understood by those locals. Water has its own tide. It has its own characteristics. Let me amaze you, these locals are always on the go on the water. And I think that time was even the best time they set out for their fishing trade. Most of them are fishermen. You see them, plying their trade on that lagoon front anytime you are driving through. So they are there doing their thing. And I want to believe they are the eyewitness. They offer most of those information we gathered and we were later...
sorry, I'm cutting in because of time. I hope you understand that. So, yes, but was it fair for them to be asking for money from family of victims on the one hand? On the other, were there other victims that was not found?
No, there was not any other victim as far as that particular incident was concerned. And talking about fairness, it's unfair. It's unfair to take advantage. But, it's in our character. Sometimes you just see somebody in need and you want to take such an advantage, and that is condemnable. It's condemnable, and
so is there anything you're doing to, because we cannot take away their role, because they are first responders before professionals like you come in. How do you want to manage this kind of situation? And then also, we expect places like, I don't know whether this question is right for you, but maybe when I ask you, you escalate it. Places like Third Mainland Bridge, we're supposed to have CCTV cameras. That is, if anything happens to Third Mainland Bridge, it's going to affect Nigeria's economy. That's how serious that place is. So if there's one of the places that should be watched 24/7, is the Third Mainland Bridge in Nigeria. Do we have enough so that you don't even need to be called? You can maybe get a ring or a signal. So 2 questions in one.
Okay, let's start from the last. The issue of, I think as at the last check, the Third Mainland Bridge was meant to have CCTV cameras. As at the last check. Now, what does this CCTV camera do? Is the question. Is it for traffic monitoring, offenses, speed limits, and what have you? Now, is it connected to the back end of the control room of an emergency response unit? That is another set of questions.
That's a question you answer. It's not me now. I just asked the question. No. So we're totally out of time. So what we're saying here is that the issue of locals demanding...
Locals.
That you didn't answer that part.
That demand, I said earlier that it's condemnable, and you said, what are we doing? So that, now, we have understanding with so many of the locals, but unfortunately sometimes these people are people who migrated unannounced. They are more or less mobile fellows. Today you have agreement with some set. By the next time, you've seen that things have changed hand.
Okay.
Another set has taken over, because they also have leadership that we talk to.
Okay.
They are also in union. They are in association.
Okay.
So we talk with their leader, because it's not worthy to talk with every individual of the locals.
Okay. Maybe just do better. You're the government.
Definitely.
Whatever they say after God is government. That's what people say. So we expect a lot more, because the family watching this, they will not be happy. Anybody who is a victim of this will not be happy. That already suffered a loss, and somebody is making ridiculous demand. It's a shameful, it's a very distasteful situation. Amadou Shakiru is the Chief Fire Officer of the Lagos State Fire and Rescue Service and Head of Public Education. Thank you for your service.
Thank you for thanking us.